Hey everybody, happy Monday.
Happy Monday, everyone. We got a new cool versus video for you today. We're going to be looking at a couple of different types of snails, and I know at first this seems like a silly comparison, but I promise you by the time we get to the video, you're going to have some things to think about. Trumpet snail versus mystery snail. Which one is right for you? Which one's better? Let's take a closer look.
First off, let's start off with the question, why snails?
Snails are awesome. I think probably the number one reason why people put snails in their tank is for algae control. They don't like looking at algae. They think that snails are going to help clean that up a little bit, and they can, as we're going to see later on. But I think that's definitely one reason you should consider them. If you've never had snails before, that can be a big help.
And I think that they're a very interesting non-fish to have in your tank. They have total different patterns of behavior, and they're just fun to watch creep around the tank.
Not only will they eat your algae, but they are also scavengers, and so they will eat some of the uneaten food, some of the other fish won't touch, so they can provide a lot of benefits to your fish tank.
For our first category, let's take a look at looks. Always important if you're putting together a solid tank. You want some good looking fish and non-fish. So mystery snails, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say mystery snails are way better looking. Why? Well, they come in a lot of different colors and they're just really cool looking.
And I would agree. I will concede that the mystery snails have more colors and the colors are much brighter and more interesting. However, you can't overlook the shape of a Malaysian trumpet snail. I think the shape of the Malaysian trumpet snail is far more interesting than the mystery snail, even though the mystery snail might have better color.
For our next category, let's talk about size. Well, they are completely different size. The mystery snail, much larger, much easier to see, and much easier to appreciate.
Now, if you want your snails to be the center of attention, that might be something to consider. Yeah, that mystery snail getting 1.5 inches, 2 inches long, and it's going to be more round, where the trumpet snail doesn't get quite as long, and it's definitely going to be a skinnier type of snail. It's not going to be as visible, so those are some things you should consider when it comes to the size. Not only that, but the mystery snail presents some problems because of its size.
True, especially when you're talking nano tanks, and the smaller the tank, you may have a 1 gallon. There's probably no way you're going to be putting a full-size mystery snail in that tiny tank, but one single trumpet snail, no problem.
And if you consider aquascaping, obviously your mystery snail is going to disrupt some of the bottom cover a little bit more if you're into that than the Malaysian trumpet snail. By the way, if you are looking for mystery snails or trumpet snails or any type of snail, check out Flip Aquatics, flipaquatics.com. I will put their information down in the description below. They are a channel sponsor who sells awesome shrimp, snails, fish, plants, you name it. If you need it, check out flipaquatics.com.
Next category, activity. The mystery snail is super cool because they are so active. They are one of the most active snails that you can get. So if you like to look at your tank and appreciate it, interact with your inhabitants, you're gonna love mystery snails, and they're really great for creating reels on Instagram. They're just a natural little character.
Now yes, the mystery snail is going to be more active than the trumpet snail. However, the trumpet snail has a very unique personality in that it's kind of the best of both worlds. When the lights are on, you typically do not see the Malaysian trumpet snails. Turn the lights off, they come out. Where do they go when the lights are on? Usually in the substrate. When you turn those lights off and they go looking for food, if you've never done this before, in the middle of the night, turn your fish tank lights on, you're going to see all these Malaysian trumpet snails everywhere. If you leave the lights on for more than 20 or 30 minutes, they will all burrow into the substrate. So they have a very different sort of personality inside of a tank, very different characteristics. And a lot of people like that because your snails are doing a job, you don't see them, turn the lights on, they kind of sort of go away. And the other cool thing, of course, is when they go into the substrate, they kind of stir it up a little bit, move nutrients around, release gas pockets. So there's an added benefit to the trumpet snail, and the mystery snails just don't do that.
Next category is breeding. They're very different. Mystery snails, especially if you have some in really cool colors and you want them to breed, which is very cool, you're going to want to leave some room above the water line on the glass, and that's where they will leave their clutch of eggs And that is a super cool thing. If you've ever not seen that, I highly recommend it. And you can have your very own snails hatching baby mystery snails.
Now, the nice thing is if you don't want more mystery snails, you can just remove the egg clutch and they're not going to hatch because that clutch needs to stay moist and right above the water line. With the trumpet snails, you have a little bit less control over that because they are going to breed like some pest snails do, or ram's horn. They're just, if you've got food in the tank and they have the ability to make more little snails, they're going to do it. They can be prolific breeders, and so that's something that you have to consider is once you have trumpet snails, you may not ever be getting rid of them, and they can survive the harshest of conditions. As an example, we had some gravel that we pull out of a fish tank. We set it aside in a bucket in the garage. The gravel was wet, and so there was some water within the gravel. Pulled the gravel out a few months later. The Malaysian trumpet snails were still there, still alive. So once you have them, they will be with you for life, and you really do need to watch your feeding. If you have trumpet snails in your tank, you just don't want to overfeed that tank because you don't want lots and lots and lots of them. Now, when it comes to cost, Malaysian trumpet snails are nearly free. They are very low cost, and like I said, once you get that colony up and running, they are definitely going to keep your tanks fully stocked. Mystery snails?
They're also cheap, but not as cheap. So you will be spending a little bit more for them, but they're larger and they're really cool.
And if you want more, you buy multiple mystery snails and you can breed them. By the way, we've done videos on how to keep mystery snails and trumpet snails. We'll put those in the description below if you want more information. All right, everyone, so that was mystery versus trumpet snail. Would love to hear from you. Which one do you prefer? I'm kind of partial to the trumpet snail, believe it or not, only because I don't have to look at them most of the time, and they still do their awesome job.
Mystery snail for me, but let us know which one you prefer.
Thanks for being here, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.